Mafia, Leroy, Hotel. Welcome to the Mind of Ro page. I am Elegua Draguna, Yaya Reinhadas Caveras, also known as the Queen of Skulls. So today I'm going to make a video on the difference between Eshu, Elegba, Elegua, and Papa Legba. So there's a lot of people that always ask me what the difference is between them. So I'm going to make a video about it. There's a lot of arguments out there as well. So I'm not here to argue with anybody. If you don't agree, you could simply have a adult conversation with me, okay? Or just simply ask what I mean by it, is ask for clarity. Because may Eshu open the way for there to be clear communication between me and my audience. May Eshu keep arguments and fights and misunderstandings away. May Baba Eshu bring clarity. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. So the last video I made was on healing from domestic violence. I am a domestic violence survivor, so I have a lot of stuff on it. For the last couple of videos I made before that was about warning signs that the person you just met might end up being abusive. So please check that video out, and please check out how to heal from domestic violence and my personal experience from healing from that. So if you like that kind of stuff, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Mind of Ro. I also have a TikTok, a Instagram, and X at Mind of Ro. And I also have a Facebook business page at The Mind of Ro. And I also do readings. So if you would like to get a reading done, I do different readings. I do Ifa readings. I also do Kimbanda readings as well. I'm a Yaya in Kimbanda. So if you would like to get a reading done, go ahead and set an appointment up with me. Either contact me on my Facebook or my Instagram, or you could email me at mindofro@gmail.com. So first of all, let's go to the basics of it. Who is Eshu? So Eshu is basically a spirit or a god who is a messenger between gods and humans. Basically, he is a Orisha of communication. He is Orisha. He is also considered the law enforcer, a trickster, and the Orisha that resides at the crossroads. He also governs doorways, and he's also known to be a protector. So basically, before we summon any Orisha, before we want to communicate with any Orisha, then we call on Eshu first, because he is the force of nature that basically helps the gods understand us, and for us to understand the gods in regards to communication. That's why we always work with him before we work with any other Orisha. He is the most important Orisha to work with. You cannot do Orisha work or even Ifa work without Eshu. So we pay a lot of homage to Eshu. We do a whole lot of work with Eshu. So a lot of people who first meet me and they're getting involved in the practice, all they hear is Eshu, 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 Eshu. Because you can't do this or any, you can't do Kimbanda, you can't do Ifa work, you can't do Sheshe work at all without working with Eshu. He is our main Orisha we have to work with. He is the most important Orisha. And the reason why that is because he is a Orisha not only of communication, he is also the law enforcer, which basically means if you are not following universal law, he is here to play tricks on you. So a lot of people would ask, well, why would a god play tricks on you? Seems malicious. Eshu is not a malicious being. Eshu is here to teach us and to help us be better, basically. So if we are arrogant, if we are prideful, if we are doing things that we shouldn't do, whether we're mindful of it or not, Eshu is here to play some tricks on us. So if you don't want the trickster to come out, then I always say don't ask the same question multiple times. Number one, when it comes to work with Eshu. And also don't be arrogant and prideful and abusive and stuff like that, because you're basically inviting the trickster. Okay, so we always pay respects to Eshu every time we're doing occult work and pretty much almost all African traditional religion. So that's who Eshu is. So we're not going to get too in depth about Eshu, because this is basically the difference between the Eshus. I'm not going to go into a big history behind him, but that's the basics of Eshu. So before we get started into the difference between all different Eshus, I want to tell you a cute little story about Eshu. A lot of times when you go online, you're going to see pictures of Eshu wearing a hat. It's going to be red on one side, it's going to be black on the other side. So basically there's a story of two farmers who lived across the street from each other. They're the best friends, they were homies. One day they were like, we will never separate, we will stay together forever. And they basically made money together. They owned two different farms, but they did it in a way to where they worked in harmony together. And they were like, man, we will never separate. We will always work together. We will make all kinds of money. We'll be rich. We'll be wealthy. So one day Eshu put his black and red hat on, and he walked down the middle of the street in between the farms. And one of the farmers said to his friend, "Oh, that was a really cool looking black hat he had on." And the other one was like, "No, he's wearing a red hat." And the other one was like, "No, he was definitely wearing a black hat." And the other one was like, "No, he was definitely wearing the red hat." So the two farmers ended up arguing to the point where they split up, and they couldn't see the paradox that Eshu was in fact wearing both red and black, and that they were both right and wrong at the same time. So Eshu is the paradox of the universe. There's a such thing as being right and wrong at the same time. Everybody has a perspective. Everybody has a point of view. Everybody has an understanding. Sometimes there is such thing as being wrong, another person's right. But a lot of times what happens is the reason why we pay a lot of, if we feed Eshu a lot, pay a lot of respect to him, is because we want to ask Eshu to bring clarity to us and help us understand, so we're not caught up like the two farmers of arguing whether his hat is red or black. So we need to understand that the universe is a paradox, and there's such thing as when you have a conversation with somebody, you could be right and wrong at the same time. We need to take the time to understand other people. So this is why we tend to feed Eshu, so we can have understanding not only about ourselves and what's going on around us, but understanding with other people. And this is how we fix relationships, because if you don't want your relationships with other people to be messed up or broken apart, it is good to pay homage and respect to Eshu, especially when it comes to romantic relationships, tight relationships with your family. You don't want Eshu to come in between and mess everything up by causing confusion. So the only way to be able to not allow Eshu to get between you and other people is you got to be humble. We have to be respectful. We need to understand that everybody's at their level of consciousness, and everybody has their own understanding of things, and we need to be okay with that. So next time you get caught up in an argument, know, oh, it's Eshu causing some issues. So please remember that every single time you get into an argument with somebody, no matter whether you practice or not, it's Eshu messing with you guys. It's Eshu saying, "Hey, do you really feel like you deserve this relationship? Do you really feel like you deserve this friendship? Or do you really appreciate what you have in front of you? Do you really see what you have? Or are you too arrogant and prideful? And it's so important for you to just be right. So since it's so important for you to be right, let me just ruin everything you have. So maybe next time you lose everything, maybe you'll realize maybe you should stop being so arrogant." And then that's how you could save your relationships with people. So that being said, I ask for Eshu to please bring clarity and understanding to all of us and our family and our friends, so we are not broken up and we're together. Ashe, ashe, ashe. So I'm going to just explain the most easiest part out of all these ones. Eshu, Elegba, Elegua. So Elegua is actually basically people who are pronouncing Elegba with an accent. That's basically what it is. So when I get that name out the way, the second one, Papa Legba, is actually it's actually from Voodoo. So, or Voodoo, they call it Eshu or Legba, Papa Legba. It's a version of their Eshu that they work with in Voodoo. So I practice traditional Ifa. So in Ifa, the difference between the different Eshus, we have Eshu Leroy, Eshu Jackie Ebola, Roje. We have like multiple different kind of versions of Eshus. So basically they're different Eshus that speak for different Orishas. That's basically what it is. So a lot of times people try to say Eshu and Elegba are not the same, but people get in all these giant arguments about Eshu and Elegba are not the same. That's Eshu playing with you. That's Eshu playing with you. Because at the end of the day, Eshu and Elegba, according to Ifa, is different and the same. So let me explain to you how Eshu and Elegba is the same and different at the same time. Elegba is Eshu. Eshu is Elegba. But in Ifa, and I'm going to say in some Ilays, in my Ilay, not all Ilays, okay? Because let me explain to you that every Ilay is different, so don't get your panties in a bunch or your boxers in a bunch just because I'm saying this. We need to respect the fact that every Ilay is different, and it's okay. You can't just run around and control everybody. And if you do think you can run around and control everybody, guess who you're inviting? Eshu the Trickster, because you're a control freak. Calm it down. So before I get started in this, before I move on with this, may we please have respect and be okay with the fact that every Ilay is different, and that's okay. So in my Ilay, this is how Eshu and Elegba is different. So Eshu is basically like a blanket term for all Eshus. Elegba, and like I said, in my Ilay, Elegba is the warrior version of the Eshu. So we have calmer versions of Eshu. We have Eshus who are more peaceful, Eshus that govern the ocean, Eshus that govern happiness and joy. And then we have the warrior version of Elegba. I'm not saying he's the only warrior version of Elegba, because Eshu is a warrior in general. He is a warrior, no matter, even if he is even if he is an Eshu that communicates more peacefully, or if it's an Eshu from the ocean, he's always going to be a warrior. But Elegba, this version of him tends to be a little more temperamental than, let's say, Eshu Adar. Okay. Now I can't give too much information about everything. If you really want to know everything about the different Eshus and everything, you need to be initiated to get like a lot more information about it. I'm just kind of say things kind of in a nutshell, make it kind of like really simple and easy for people to understand. People who are not initiated, people who don't even practice all are probably completely confused right now. I'm trying to make it as easy as I can. But basically, according to my Ile, the difference between Eshu and Legba is Eshu is a blanket term. A Legba is a version of one of the Eshus out of many of them that is more temperamental as the other Eshus. Not saying there's other Eshus that aren't as temperamental or more temperamental. I'm just saying he is a warrior version of Elegba in my Ile. So that's basically what that means. So that's in a nutshell the difference between Eshu, Elegba, Elegua, Papa Legba. So if you have any more questions about it, that's basically it. I don't have to go into. I'm not going to go way too deep into it. If you want to go really deep into it, it's more of an initiate type of thing. But that's the basics of it. So hopefully I didn't confuse you more. Hopefully I helped you understand a little bit. But I also practice Kambanda. So we do have Eshus, which is spelled E-X-U. So the difference between Eshu and Ifa and Eshu and Kambanda is basically, Eshus and Kambanda is basically Eshu that divided himself into a bunch of different versions of Eshus, which is not that big of a difference from the Eshus and Ifa, because there's also different versions of like Eshus and Ifa that did the same thing, divided themselves up into different versions of Eshus. So, but because Kambanda is more like the left-hand path, these Eshus tend to be very hot and fiery and temperamental, versus some Eshus in Ifa, you're going to deal with some temperamental ones, you're going to deal with some cool ones. So, but they're all tricksters, remember that. Every single one of them, because that Eshu is the trickster, that's who he is. So, the difference between the Eshus in Kambanda and the difference between the Eshus in Ifa, or Eshu in Ifa, is basically the Eshus in Kambanda act a little more, even though Eshu does kind of act human-like regardless, he acts childlike. The Eshus in Kambanda tend to even feel more physical when you tend to call on them. Their energy can feel more humanistic. Their personalities can be a lot more human, if that makes sense. Even though Eshu can still, in Ifa and other practices, can have a lot of human traits, like especially he's known to be seen as either the wise man with the beard, with the pipe in his mouth, or he could be seen as a child running around playing tricks on you. And definitely you want the wise man, the wise version of Eshu, where he's teaching you wisdom, not playing tricks on you and playing with you, messing with you, which he can be very funny. He's very fun. He's definitely one of the funnest Orishas there to work with. I have to say, Eshu and Oshun are the most funnest. I say all of them are great. I love all the Orishas. But when it comes to the fun factor, unless you like to go to war, when Ogun would be fun with the war aspect. But when it comes to playfulness, I'd have to say Eshu and Oshun are like the most playful, funnest play, when it comes to play kind of energy Orishas to work with. So the difference between that is, yes, the Eshus in Kambanda are playful, and there's different versions of Eshus in Kambanda. You also have Eshus in that govern like the ocean, different in the forest, the graveyard, different aspects of Eshus in Kambanda as well. But the difference is that the Eshus in Kambanda do tend to feel a lot more physical. They tend to be more human-like in their behavior, and they tend to feel like that when you summon them, versus Eshu and Ifa. I guess I have to say that energy just feels kind of different, because Eshu and Ifa can still kind of act human-like as well. It just depends on, you know, how much you're working with him, because he does like to play little games and knock on the door and take things and do things, make your house feel haunted sometimes. He's funny. So I guess the difference is just the way they feel when you're summoning them, or when you're invoking them, or when you're calling on them, and the way they respond and the way they do the work for you. Like when you're doing when you're feeding them, when you're doing Ebo, when you're doing occult work, or whatever it is that you're doing, magic spells, whatever you want to call it. The way they do things and the way they behave and the way they move things around in your life, or the way they respond or react, is just different. And every single one is different. I'm not going to go into depth in the difference between every single one, or I'd be here for like 10 years. So But Eshu and Kambanda is still Eshu at the end of the day, and Eshu and Ifa is still Eshu, Papa Legba is still Legba. You know, it's still the same force of nature in the universe that governs this specific law. So Eshu, or in other words, Elegba, is the force of nature that governs communication and opens and closes doors. Basically closes the door to opportunity, opens the door to opportunity. When you feel like you're trying to go in a specific direction and you feel like all the doors are shutting, you're like, what is going on? That's Eshu doing that. So that's why a lot of time we want to feed Eshu, so the door will open for us, and we want to know, we get clarity by speaking to Eshu and asking, why is this happening? What direction do you want me to go about Eshu? You know? Or Tata Eshu, depending on which practice you're going with. So that is the difference. A lot of people, I've even had one of my old videos where people try to say, Eshu and Ifa is not the same as Eshu and Kambanda. I don't want to argue with anybody, but at the end of the day, Eshu is a force of nature in the universe that governs communication and helps you communicate with the gods. And he's the law enforcer in regards to universal law, and he's the trickster. End of the conversation. That is what he is. But when it comes to the differences, the difference is basically the personalities and the way he responds and the way he acts. But at the end of the day, Eshu is a force of nature that governs universal law, a very specific universal principle. And that's what he is, whether you practice voodoo, whether you practice Kambanda, whether you practice Palo, where he's called Lucero, whether you practice Ifa, Lukumi, whatever you're practicing, Eshu is Eshu. Eshu is a Risa that governs communication, the crossroads. That's what he is. So when people say Eshu is not the same as a Legba, Eshu and Ifa is not the same as the Eshu and Kambanda, we're not understanding the paradox of Eshu. Eshu is the paradox of the universe. He is a story of people wearing him wearing the black and red hat, and people can't understand and see that he's wearing a black and red hat. It's not black or red. And so when we get into these arguments about, oh, it's not the same, it's not the same, it's Eshu playing with your ego and your mind, because some people, just to be honest, you're just too prideful to admit maybe you don't know everything. Okay? I don't know everything. You don't know everything. And when we think we know everything, that's when you're inviting the trickster to come play tricks on you. Because so when whoever's watching this, can we admit that we don't know everything? And that's okay. And that's why we're in a constant place of healing. We're in a constant place of working on ourselves. We're in a constant place of working on ascension, fixing our relationships, loving ourselves, learning how to better ourselves. We're constantly in a place of growth. The universe is constantly expanding, moving, changing consistently. There is no such thing as something not changing. Everything is dying, being birthed, rebirthed at some aspect, somehow, some way. And this is the story of Odu and Ifa. I'm not going to get into that though, that everything is dying, being born, or being rebirthed, or going through transition constantly. And Eshu helps that. Eshu is closing doors. He's opening doors. He's helping the universe expand with his trickery, with his clarity, with his paradox, and that's his job in the universe. Because if you're not growing, you're dying. Okay? If you're not growing, you're dying. Basically, that's what it is. If you're not watering the grass in your yard, then your yard's gonna die. So Eshu is the one that's gonna push you to water the grass, if you know what I'm saying. And if you don't water the grass in your life, he's gonna irritate you to the point he's gonna enforce you to make you do it. Because sometimes we're just stubborn. Sometimes the universe tells us, hey, intuition, you probably shouldn't go do that. And then you go do it anyways. And then you wonder why chaos happens. Losses, chaos, confusion, depression, Eshu. That's what it is. So we gotta like admit that when we invite the trickster into our life, we're doing it to ourselves. You know what I mean? So we need to learn to be humble. We need to practice Ewe Puele, which is, and Sudu, with his good character and patience. It's a major saying in Ifa. We also need to learn how to keep our eyes on our own mat, which is learning to mind our own business, you know, and not be judging people all the time, you know, and learning not to get involved in gossip, which is exactly which is Eshu gossip, communication, which is basically not keeping your eyes on your own mat and getting caught up on all this stuff all over the media. So the media is causing you confusion. We cannot get mad at being confused if we're given into the trickster confusing us. A lot of people say, oh, the devil and his evil controlling the world. Is it? Or is it just Eshu testing you to see how woke and how conscious are you really? You know, are you going to get caught up on all the illusions in the world? Don't get mad at them. Don't get mad at Eshu playing with your tricks on you. You're the one falling for it. What you mad at him for? You're the one who decided to watch the news. You're the one who decided to listen to the radio. You're the one who decided to be in that bad relationship. You're the one who decided to go do something like rob a bank. You're the one who decided to do things you shouldn't have been doing. You're the one who decided to be hard on yourself or be hard on others. You are deciding to do that. So you are the one inviting the trickster. The world, as we know it, is the one inviting the trickster. We get mad at the media lying to us all the time, but at the end of the day, I always tell my Eli this. Who is that? The trickster, okay? So we really can't get mad. We really can't. This is a collective conscious. I made a video about Eshu way a long time ago where Eshu explained to me and had me explain to everybody else that we live in a collective conscious. Basically, we're collectively agreeing to manifest this reality that we live in. This physical reality, what we think we could touch and see and smell and whatever it is, that we are collectively creating this all together. Me, you, whoever's watching this, your parents, everybody else that lives in the state, the country, the world, we're all collectively creating this. And we need to take accountability for creating this reality. Either we're making the choice to make the world a better place or we're not. And if we aren't and we're being stagnant in life, you really can't get mad at Eshu for playing tricks on you. You're doing it yourself. Eshu does not like stagnation. Eshu wants you to constantly be growing, constantly be bettering yourself. So if the universe is telling you, no, the nice way isn't working for you, universe is gonna come punch you around until you get the point, you know. And it's like the more hard-headed you are, the more of this you're gonna get by the universe. And you know, and we have to understand that when things are going chaotic, we need to know that there's another direction we need to go. We need to sit still and be the eye in the storm and calm our mind and figure out where is the universe trying to move me to? Why are there these doors closing, and where is the open doors? Where am I not seeing? And we need to sit still. That's why I always promote meditation and learning how to calm our mind and learning how to focus on affirmations and not demonizing chaos in our life, even though sometimes I know it's very uncomfortable, but we need to be able to sit in that and then see what is the universe telling us to do, what direction is the universe pushing us. And we need to be mindful of it, because being hard-headed is, you're not going to win. Eshu always wins. I'm going to let everybody know right now. Eshu always wins, okay? So you might as well just give in and just be like, okay, about Eshu, what am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be doing? You know? That's it. Sometimes we just have to humble ourselves and understand the universe is telling us we need to be doing something else. And it's your choice to either you have the free will to go against that or go with it. I like that saying, which a lot of New Age spiritualists say, is go towards the least resistance, which is basically in the direction that you feel like the universe is kind of flowing you to, kind of like Oshun or Yamaya energy, like the water's flowing you that way. If it feels good, it feels right, then go that way. If it doesn't, then probably don't do it. You know what I mean? So just pay attention to and energies just happen around you. I'm not saying it just because chaos happened doesn't mean you're not supposed to do it, because that's not always true. There is a such thing as being cursed. There is a such thing as somebody throwing curses at you. There is a such thing of you just needing to fight a little harder. So don't just like give up just because it's hard, because life is supposed to be hard sometimes. It's supposed to toughen you up. You need to get a little tough skin, and sometimes that's this life. Sometimes it's like the Orisha Ogun just, you know, toughening you up, like, hey, be a little harder than that, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that you, just because things are hard, you're supposed to give up. Please don't do that. That's why we always ask Ifa. That's why we always do readings. That's why we always, in Kambanda, we ask Eshu, which direction am I supposed to be going? Whatever am I supposed to be doing? What are things do I need to do to protect my energy so I'm not going through this chaos or whatever it is, or so I can have some clarity and where I'm supposed to go. So that's my story about Eshu. I kind of went on a rant there for a minute. So if anybody has any more questions and I did not touch base on it, please let me know. I am initiating, so I just got finished doing some initiations recently. Hope you guys see my pictures. It was fun. Went to the beach. I'm in Tampa, and it was crazy because like we were literally, me and the Ele were like chilling at Calm Beach, and then boom, a few days later, hurricane. It's crazy, but the Risha saved us. We were fine. We all made it home safe. It was just in time. It's just it was very surreal or very weird to see like where we were literally just at after initiations. Everything was like covered in water and stuff like that. But we're fine. We're safe. We're good. Everybody made it home safe. But next initiations will not be in hurricane season, by the way. Next initiation is going to be in spring. I am initiating people into Elegba, just the warrior Elegba, for just $300. So if you would like to get initiated into Elegba only, just please go ahead and let me know. But just to let you know, once we do a reading on you, because you do need to get a reading done, you can't just come in and say, I want to be initiated into Elegba. Like, we have to ask you for, we have to do a whole reading to find out who your Orisha parents are, who's guiding you, who's your head Orisha, who's your feet Orisha. And for more information on that, please check my video out on steps to getting initiated. I don't want to get too much into that now. Please look at that video if you're interested to get initiated. We need to do a reading on you. We need to find out who your Orisha parents are if you do not know yet. And then I need to list who and what you're approved to be initiated into. So if you're interested, please go ahead and shoot me a message and set an appointment up with me. I will not be initiating people for a while after the spring because I do have personal plans. I won't be able to. So I'm going to let you guys know you have about 8 months to come and get initiated into Elegba or any other Orisha. Elegba, like I said, is only $300 if you want to come in and get. I have been having, for the last 2 years, been having so many people saying, hey, are you doing Eshu classes? Are you doing Elegba classes? I was doing classes, but now I'm doing initiations. If you want me to teach you how to work one-on-one with Elegba or Eshu with any of the warriors like Ogun or Chosi, then you do need to be initiated. Please hit me up and let me know. And let's get you in this spring. And I do have a whole Ele. You have support and everything like that. So you can hit me up on either Facebook, Instagram, or on my Gmail that I just said earlier, mindofrot@gmail, to set an appointment up with me. But before you do that, I'm kind of picky about why people get initiated. If I find out through Ifa or by you that the only reason why you want to get initiated because you want to curse people, or because you just want to be rich and that's the only reason why, that is not the right reason to get initiated into Elegba. It's not okay. Okay, that's not why we get initiated. The reason why we get initiated is because we want to go through a place of healing and because we need protection. So Elegba is a warrior, and especially I always advocate to protect battered women. If you are a woman who has been battered, who's been abused by men, please come and get an Elegba to come protect you. Eshu helps us heal. Eshu is not here to help you curse people. If you are, Eshu's going to teach you some lessons that you're not going to like. Okay, so a lot of people come in doing that. A lot of people feel like, oh, all of a sudden they have Elegba, and all of a sudden they have this power. Now they want it gets to their head, they get arrogant, they get all super powerful, and think they're just going to run around and do whatever they want. Elegba is the law enforcer, okay? So remember that. Just because you have him, it doesn't mean you're free from that law. Your own Orisha will punish you if you do not act right. So our Orishas teach us to heal. They teach us to practice the way Pele. They teach us to be patient. They teach us which direction we're supposed to be going. So if you just want to get initiated into Elegba, you just run around cursing people, or should just be rich, not okay. Please humble yourself to the better reason, which is healing, which is protecting yourself from people who aren't good for you, people who want to take advantage of you, people who want to hurt you. And also a Orisha that helps you with communication. If you're having issues with communicating when people not understanding you, or you just don't understand people, Eshu helps with that. So if you want just understanding in your life in general, Eshu is the one to be initiated into. He's a great Orisha. So, hold on. Let's grab my notes. Like I said earlier, I will not be initiating anybody for a while after this spring. So this is the time to get in. Be there, be square, y'all. That's cheesy. So, but if you haven't already yet, please go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Mind of Ro. I do a lot of videos on Orisha, also on the Netaru, which is Egyptian deities, and also Kambanda stuff as well. So check my videos out and check out my clothing line. I have a new clothing line. I'm going to put it in the comments and below, or in the description below this video. So please check out my clothing line. And so may Eshu open the door for everybody to have abundance, wealth, happiness, joy, peace of mind, tranquility, clear communication. Ashe, ashe, asheo. I hope everybody is having a safe night. Ashe, ashe, asheo. To. Peace. Odabo.